All right, guys, today we're going to be talking about how we rotate our dairy goats on pasture and why that's so important. I really love this system that we've got, and I'm actually going to make it better here in the next couple of weeks. It's kind of clunky still because we have a lot of moving parts, and you see we're getting ready to milk. And it's a very convenient system whenever we've got it down pat and we can move one item. As you can see, we've got a milking stand, we've got our hay stand, and we've got a shelter right here. It works really well right now, but it can get better. Now, one of the reasons I really love this is because you can see right here, we've got a lot of grass growth, and this is February. And here where they've been for about 3 days, you can see the difference between this side of the camera and this side of the camera. Okay, they eat all that up. They eat a little bit of that cover, but we want to leave enough to where it's going to insulate the ground and help it grow this spring. So let's get in here and milk, and I'll talk some more about it. So here you can see we've got Miss Piper. She's got her head in the gate. It's really a simple structure. And as you can see, we've got a standalone right here and right here. These are supports. And then this piece right here slides back and forth, and it's held in place with this screwdriver. Super simple, but it works. And as far as the stand goes, we've got some shingles here on the platform itself and the ramp, and this helps trim their hooves. So it really works well for what we do right now. So let's go ahead and start milking. Now, one drawback, as you can see, is it's kind of a big platform. And when I redesign this, I'm gonna make it more narrow so that they don't have as much room to run. This is our youngest goat, Piper. She makes the least amount of milk so far, but it's only her first freshening. And with goats, you can expect to get the most from their third freshening, so the third time that they have babies. And we've been happy with her so far. Her udder's developed since we've gotten her, and her teeth have also gotten better. So when you go to look at a goat, if you're going to be wanting one for dairy, it just needs to have some good qualities, but just understand if you work with it, it will get better. So I just finished milking Miss Piper here, and as you know, we have more than just one goat. So how do we keep them away? Well, I've got some attachments here on our hay truck, I guess, or hay trailer, and it keeps them in place for us to milk, because if not, they're jumping up all over you, and we don't want to have to walk the goats back to a actual milking barn, just because if we can do it with this system, and as we've already learned, refine it, which we're getting ready to do, you know, it's only going to get better. And we want to stick with mobile. We don't want to focus on any permanent structure for our milking enterprise. And if we can stay that way, that's how we're going to maintain it. But we are going to get better. This isn't the final, okay? This isn't the final product. It's only going to get better from here, and we're passionate about it. So let's go ahead and let Miss Valentine out, and we'll get to milking her. So Miss Val, she's one of our older goats here, and we like to expel a little bit of milk just to clean out that duct before we get started. She has some really large udders, and they're actually kind of difficult to milk. It's a little bit, I'm guessing her pore or her duct is a little bit smaller, but she's a great milker. She knows how to stand here, and we haven't had any problems with her. And it's so easy because, I mean, look at that. You can get your whole hand around it without having to, you know, like a little Nigerian dwarf, you've got to basically use crab pinchers to do. So we get about, I'd say about a quart a day out of her right now. And I'm hoping this is going to go up. We've experimented with different types of feed and mineral to supplement. What they're eating right now is alfalfa pellets. They get that twice a day. And it's about 2 pounds a day. A pound in the morning and a pound in the evening. And with the pellets, they're really in a condensed form, so a pound it's not as much as it sounds. But we should be getting more milk from these girls, and we're thinking, since they were bred at the time they were and they kidded in December, that once spring the flush hits, we'll get more. But only time will tell that, so we're excited to see the change between this winter forage and spring forage. Another thing you want to do is whenever it starts drying up a little bit, you just want to massage her bag a little bit, her udder, and that will drop some more milk. And if you leave milk in there, she's going to produce less milk over time because she doesn't need to produce as much milk. It's kind of like, you know, when you go to the gas station, if you're on 0, you're going to have to be buying $35 worth of gas, but if you're on a quarter, you only might need to buy like 27. So it's just, you want to try to get all that milk out of there to be as efficient as you can, because we do want to do dairy with this. We possibly maybe sell it one day. Right now it's just for our own consumption and for the babies that you hear in the background squalling their brains out, because we just don't want them up here right now when we're getting ready to move. Here's Big Lou, so make our way to the end because she's really aggressive about her food. There you go. Now, as you can tell with hers, one of her teats is bigger than the other. It's like that when we got her. We think that's from, you know, she kidded and the babies favored one side. We're not 100% sure, but she's actually our best milker. So that one produces a lot. Good girl, Luce. You did a good job. And you can see we got a tennis ball on one of them. That's because she likes to use her horns in an aggressive manner. So just to, she's pulled the tennis ball off the other one, but just to save some pain for the other goats, we put them on there, and sometimes we put pool noodles, so that's worked pretty well. Just let her out of the gate here. Got my milk hanger. Let's pull out this screwdriver. And they're free to go. You can see her, she's already kind of hitting here on this. This is the goat mineral we use. This is the Do More brand. And I'll go ahead and take you inside our goat hut here. So we got a brush right here. This is what they brush their head on. Then right here, you can see our mineral. We're good. This side, we do the Do More. Oh, spit a little bit. The Do More mineral. On the other side, we do baking soda. Here we have a salt rock. And we like to keep a salt rock all year round because, number one, our winters aren't that cold and we don't have as big of a problem with that. And number two, if they want salt and they don't need any of the other minerals like that are in here, such as copper, magnesium, sulfur, all the other good stuff in there, they'll actually eat that trying to get the salt, and they can get to a toxic level because even though they don't need the copper or the magnesium, they need the salt, and it just gets you an imbalance. So we like to keep both. And more is better when it comes to this. You want them to be healthy and happy and have enough to eat. So definitely don't starve them. Here's Mama with the 2 baby goats we have. Our brown goat that you see there on the left, that is Bambi, and the right is Luna. We'll get a closer look, but that's Lucy's babies. Now we've raised these. Now we've raised these as bottle babies. They're very friendly. Look. But they've blended back in well with the herd. We keep them separate at night, and that's why you heard them screaming earlier in the video, just for a safety thing. But they blended in well, and you can hear Val, which is not their mom. She's the mother of the group. She's the nurturer. She's ready for them to be back in there with her. So we're going to go ahead and set them loose and see how it goes. While we're here, I'll go ahead and talk about our solar charger. This is a solar charger. We don't plug it in. It's made by Parmac, and this is the Solar Pack 12. It's a pretty big charger. It's overkill for what we have. I already had it, so that's why we used it. But it works great. Many of you are probably familiar with this fencing. This is called Premier One. This is an electric net. Now, this is an electric wire. It's not an electric braid. When we're moving this through the briars and the brush and different places, it can actually separate this wire, and it can cut these small stainless steel wires in here, okay? And that's not good. But so far, we haven't had any issues with it. It's pretty sturdy. We haven't had them get out one time. We've had them since November, and they've not got out once. I really believe, because they were broke to 5-strand high tensile, I really believe we could run 5 strands of poly braid, but we're gonna stick with this for our next system that we're trying out, which is just gonna be a bigger version with more of these, and we'll be able to move them every day instead of every 3 to 4 days. And you know, I haven't seen anybody raise goats like this so far. It's a little bit different. We don't have quite as much browse here in this field, so we do cut tree hay for them, you know, pine branches, poplar, maple, all that good stuff. We cut things, privet, and bring to them. And then also, with this being mobile, we take them to it and let them clean out different spots around the farm, especially the fence line. And you know, I haven't seen anybody else do this. This is why it's an experiment with 3 different things we're having to move every time we move them. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. We don't have the parasite load that you have from a dry lot or being on one stationary field. They have fresh grass all winter long. It's taken less than a half a roll of hay to get through the whole winter, and grass is already starting to grow now. I mean, we've got some fresh growth started. It's late February. We've made it through winter. Now we are in zone 7B in western North Carolina, so that does help. It's a little bit warmer here than New England, but I really love this system, and I think it'll benefit you anywhere you do it. And hopefully I'm going to get better at it and pave the way so that when you get started, it'll be simple for you. So if you get to where you want to bottle feed, so if you want to get where you bottle feed some babies, we're feeding them out of Coke bottles here, and we just bought these lids off Amazon. They come with a nipple attached to them, but they'll fit on any Coke bottle that you've got, 16-ounce Coke bottle, and even a 2-liter bottle. It works really great, and they're cheap. We got like, what was it, Riley, 25 of them for like $12. Much cheaper than at the store. You'll get 2 nipples at the store for $12. So save your money, buy these. They're probably cheap Chinesium, but they work and they get the job done. And if we can't get something that's gonna, you know, be reasonable to pay for, then I don't mind to buy that. So that's feeding the babies with the bottle. So I'm just attaching this long line, and basically we let them free range in the field. We've got it fenced in totally. My grandpa fenced this in many years ago with hog and cattle wire, so it's going to keep them in. But while we're moving them, we let them free range, and that just makes it, oh, I'm not tied up with all my stuff here. And it really works well, letting them free range that way while we're moving. And that long line, it's like if you're working to train a dog, you put, you know, a real long line on them so that you can let them have some distance from you, but you can still catch them. And Piper, she's our new one, so we still tie her up. She hasn't figured out the system real well yet. We tie her to a ground stake, kind of like you'd use for a dog. We don't advise this if you're going to be out and about for the day. You don't want to tie them up because they can actually choke themselves. So don't tie them up if you're not going to be immediately with them while you're doing it, okay? Because you can come back home and find a dead goat. And she's already gotten the system down because last 2 times she didn't want us around her. But another thing with moving goats every day or every couple days, you get a relationship and a bond built with them, and they're much easier to work with. We've seen people whose goats you can't get around. It's crazy. I don't know why you would want animals if you can't be around them. So when you do this system, you build a relationship and a trust, and they start to understand the system. So let's go ahead and let these girls out. Come on. Come on. So they've been trained. They know that this wire's hot. They don't even test it. I mean, look how pitiful that corner looks right there. And they didn't get out over these past 2 or 3 days. I think wind or something might have done that. But here I am, about to release the hounds. They're excited every time we get to do this. So they'll just go out and start eating. And Miss Piper here, I'll take her with me, and we're gonna go tie her up. Folks, it's February, and look at all this that they're eating. Look at it. This is the best way to do it. They'll have this picked clean, and over winter, all this stuff grows back so slow. They'll have it picked clean. You can manage it properly. Okay, we're just on 2 acres here, and that's not a lot of land. Don't get me wrong, my grandpa established some pretty good grass bed. We're improving it through chickens and goats, but it's February. They've got fresh grass. They've had fresh grass all winter long. Okay, hay has been, honestly, I'm shocked at how much hay we've not ate. It's been truly remarkable, and goats are not very expensive to keep when you do them this way. The expense goes into the fence, and then it pays you back dividends over the years. And look, these little ones have already learned it. They could easily jump over this, but they respect it. Piper's over there screaming because goats are herd animals and don't like being alone, but she'll be okay for about 10 minutes. What I like to do is I like to keep the point down here at my hand, take up this fence, and continue with it. That way it doesn't get tangled. But you can see the line, especially right up here. Between fresh and where they've been. And this has just been over about 3 days. They've ate all this down, so they haven't been in here very long at all. No, actually it's been 4 days. We use these cheap step-in posts from Tractor Supply for our corners, and that just makes a good brace because we're not always doing a perfect square, and your corners will want to start to sag if you don't have that extra support. Okay, right here where we had them, and right here where they couldn't reach. Okay, and this is the whole point of moving. It's called mob grazing. It's called whatever you want to call it. Pick them up and move them every day. The reason we're doing this, we're simulating the way herds used to move. If you go out to Yellowstone, you'll see big herds of buffalo. They condense all that urine and all that poop and all that browsing right there to that one spot. Then they move on. They don't continue eating until it's dirt. You only see that in confinement settings, guys. That's not how it works in nature. It's much better for your land and your pocketbook if you do it this way. They've got this whole field to move through, and it's really a remarkable system, and I'm happy with it. And that's why we're investing a lot more money into it, because we're going to be able to exponentially grow using this system. It's not a finite resource. It's only going to get better the longer we do it. So we've got our mobile house and milk stand moved. Now I'm just going through and getting a rough idea of how this fence is going to go. What I like to do is I like to make a rectangle, because we are in a square field. You can do any shape you want, but I like to do 4 stakes out, 2 stakes across. If you're not careful, those spikes will hook in, and that's when you get all sorts of mixed up. Go ahead and pull this out. And when you get mixed up, what I like to do is I just pull it all the way out. Usually it corrects itself, and if it doesn't, then I do what I need to do. So Good. So this will be our corner right here. And I'm gonna go back and connect with our middle post. And I like to establish this first, okay? So you can see here, I've got end here, didn't do a great job. This is the best end to start with, but I didn't. Bring them together, tie them up. You want a tight point to where you can start from. And I just do a shoelaces knot. It's really not hard. And there you've established your first point. So I like to Spartan throw these to the corners where I need them. Don't hit the baby. I'll be eating baby goat for dinner if I hit them with it. It's like a spear. So we'll go ahead and start right here. And come back through. Oh Lord. Oh, I just got mixed up right here. So what I like to do is take my foot, make it tight, pull, stick it in the ground. This will be our corner. So I will need, and again, the end gets wrapped up sometimes, but I'll use my corner post. What I'll do is I'll make this the straight line, go with my foot, pull tight, and see how this collapses on itself? What I do is I use this $1.50 post from Tractor Supply, put it in the ground at a slanted angle, come in, and just clip the rope in. We've had these for about November, December, January, February, March. So about 4 months. They've held up well for 4 months, so I can't attest to the longevity in terms of years, but over 4 months, they have done well. We're reaching our next corner. Thank you, Riley. So I've got this. It collapses back in. Bring in this post. Clip it in. And doing it this way, I found that you can get a pretty clean looking fence line. It doesn't look janky whenever you do it like this, but you just need to do it right from the start and not, you know, get it all wound up. And these all pull tension on themselves to straighten out and become uniform. The babies are already in here with us, and they've learned that the fence is not to be touched. So from a young age, they've already established that, and they're already trained to the system. They're less than 6 weeks old, and they know the system already. So it's effective, it works. I'm very happy with it. When we expand and get on a bigger piece, I believe I'm going to get away from the net system and use a 5-strand poly wire that I'll use in reels. Is it going to work? I don't know. I think it will, but you don't know that until you try. So we're going to, on these 2 to 3 acres, with this small scale, we're going to continue with this system, Premier One nets. All the way down. We're going to continue with this system, and I think it's best for smaller scale. And honestly, I would consider smaller scale less than 10 acres. It'll work effectively. We're going to use these whenever I'm buying 3 more nets. We're going to run straight lines across the field, and we're going to be able to move them every day because I'm going to have 2 end caps, and we're going to move them between 2 strands of this. And we're going to get this centralized. I'm going to put it all onto one trailer so that we can make our moves take 10 minutes instead of 30 to 45. Not only is that going to work better in terms of time and being more sustainable for us to do, nobody wants to spend 3 hours a week or more moving fences. But if you can spend an hour a week and then not have to buy any hay, you're going to be out here with them anyway, so take 10 minutes a day and move them. It's not bad. And now you see we've reached our end. We've already got a solid line established from right here at the start. You can see our corner looks really good. It's a really tight fence, and all I've got to do is tension up this last piece. And what I do is I actually pull it out to tension it, and that's it. We've just moved our goats. They're ready to come back in here. I got one more piece, and I want to show you this. It's really important. Come on out, Riley. We'll go ahead and open the gate for the goats to come back in. Okay. They've been trained to this system well. So we'll get them and they'll just run back in here. But I want to show you these ground rods. Okay. In the past, dealing with a ground rod, it was a hassle. Okay. You had one thin rod, no way of really getting it up out of the ground. With this, and these alligator clips are a lifesaver from Premier One. Buy them when you buy your fence. Spend the 10 bucks on them. Okay. But these ground rods, they've got a T-handle. They're 3-foot ground rods. I've got 3 of them because I've got 3 joules. And my charger, look at that. Your ground rod is ready to go. These don't have to be all the way in the ground for them to work with this wet soil. The deeper you can get them, the better. And I'm not going to strain myself to do it because it's not that important. I've got more ground rods than I need for this charger and this fence. But if you live in a drier area, you might want to just have your hammer available, because I've never had it to where I can't drive these all the way in the ground with just my body weight. In this field, this is just a different part of the field, and I guess there's something different about it, so that'll be good enough. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but right here I brought our chicken tractor through, and look how green it is. This was in November. This has greened up tremendously compared to right in here, and you can see the exact path that I took the chickens. If you're considering doing chickens in a chicken tractor, I highly recommend it, because can I see the camera? If you can look, and I'll point it out to you here, this strip right through the middle, you can see exactly where the chicken tractor came down through here. It's greened it up. That's provided nitrogen for the soil. That's a lot of food, not only for the chickens to eat when they come back through, but also these goats, sheep, cow, whatever we put in here. It's really great. We got some friends across the road looking at us. neighbor's cows. You can see right here, I'm burning this. Burning isn't always the best thing to do because it spaces out, encourages spacing of the plants and of the grass. But we had so many weeds, I burned it, and we're gonna see how it greens back up compared to just mowing. I just wanted to do a little experiment. So the girls have already started eating. Let's get them and move them back. Come on, Luce. Come on. And see, they're trained. They know exactly what we're doing. Now, these are big animals, but they've learned the system, and we can immediately put them right back where they need to go. They're going to run right in this fence because they know exactly how the system runs now. And this will be their home for the next 3 or 4 days. And they should run right in there. So, see, she's confused. Over here, Lucy. I'll open it up for her. Going in. Come on. They don't fight. There's no hassle. They know how it works. And once you work with your animals, it's really not that bad. And that's it. You've just moved dairy goats on pasture. I encourage you to try this out. Make it better. My system is not perfect. I'm going to improve my own. But I want you to do your own, improve it, and then put it out there. I want to see it. We need good ideas. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it's been encouraging to you. I hope you have a blessed day. Be sure to keep me and my family in your prayers. And I'm going to try to keep you in mind. We're all in this together. And just continue doing what you're doing. Get up there, go out there, and do it. Have a good day.